Number 8. Reed Mitchell, Logan Huber, and Aiden Holland. In December of 2021, a prayer vigil was held in the community of Lake Jackson, Texas, as a teenage football player had been left fighting for his life after being savagely beaten by his own teammate. Cole Hagan was at a pool party on December the 3rd when his varsity football peers, Logan Huber and Aiden Holland, lured him outside by telling him that someone had hit his truck. When Hagan went to check his vehicle, he was ambushed by teammate Reed Mitchell, alongside whom he played for the Brazos Wood High School. The latter punched and slammed Hagan to the concrete before he got on top of him and started elbowing him in the face. Mitchell had allegedly planned the attack, which was reportedly over a girl, for days, and at least 8 people were proven to have had prior knowledge of it. After brutally beating his teammate, Mitchell called one of his friends saying, "Come get your boy." Hagan, who'd been left in critical condition and bleeding from his ears, was taken to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston. He'd suffered brain hemorrhage and multiple skull fractures, in addition to a broken collarbone. When he regained consciousness, Hagan thought he'd been in an accident and, as reported by his older brother, the first thing he did was ask if his friends had been hurt. Mitchell, Huber, and Holland were subsequently arrested and indicted on aggravated assault charges. In early 2022, Hagan's family sued them and their parents for $50 million in damages, alleging that the parents either knew or should have known about the planned attack. Number 7. Mauro Icardi. In the 2010s, while he was playing at Sampdoria, Argentine striker Maxi Lopez was married to model and media personality Wanda Nara, with whom he had 3 children. Lopez became friends with teammate and fellow countryman Mauro Icardi, inviting him on vacations and opening up his home to him. After he'd moved to Italy, Lopez eventually discovered that Icardi had begun having an affair with his wife, and a highly publicized scandal emerged. Lopez filed for divorce in December of 2013, and Icardi married Nara soon after the proceedings were finalized. The decision generated animosity against him in Argentina and even drew criticism from soccer legend Diego Maradona, who engaged Icardi in bitter exchanges on Twitter. The conflict between Icardi and Lopez remained unresolved even after the former was traded to Inter Milan, as highlighted by an incident from April of 2014. In a game between Sampdoria and Inter Milan, Lopez refused to shake his former teammate's hand, which led to the press dubbing the match the Wonder Derby. Later on in 2019, Lopez told Argentine media that the couple was disregarding the custody terms laid out by the judge and actively preventing him from seeing his children. Number 6. Rashawn Jones. On November the 7th of 2006, Miami Hurricanes defensive lineman Brian Patter was fatally shot in the back of the head outside his apartment in Kendall, Florida. As a senior at the University of Miami, 22-year-old Patter was on the cusp of a promising career and would have likely been selected in the upcoming NFL draft. The murder remained officially unsolved for roughly 15 years. An extensive investigation would ultimately lead to the arrest of Patter's Hurricanes teammate, Rashawn Jones, on August 19th of 2021. Leading up to the shooting, fellow players reported recurring arguments and physical altercations between the two men, partially fueled by the fact that Patter's girlfriend at the time had dated Jones in the past. The latter was the only player to miss a team meeting on the night of the murder, and cell phone data placed him at the scene of the crime, contradicting his claims that he'd been at his Miami residence. He'd also changed his number on that day, explaining that he'd done so to avoid friends and relatives giving him a hard time over a failed drug test and recent suspension. A retired University of Miami writing instructor by the name of Paul Connor told law enforcement that after hearing a pop noise, he'd seen someone matching Jones's description fleeing through the parking lot of the Kendall apartment complex. Official documents indicated that Connor had picked Jones out of a photo lineup in June of 2007, a few months after the killing. When confronted by detectives on how eyewitness testimony lined up with the cell phone records, Jones reportedly explained it as just really bad luck, vehemently denying he'd had anything to do with Patter's death. As of the latest updates on the case, he'd officially pleaded not guilty to the murder. Number 5. Kieron, Dyer, and Lee Bowyer. One of the most infamous moments in the English Premier League of the mid-2000s was an in-match brawl between Newcastle teammates Lee Bowyer and Kieron Dyer. It occurred on April the 2nd of 2005, as the team was 3 goals behind Aston Villa. As Dyer told a media outlet years later, Bowyer had complained that he wasn't getting any passes from him. He pressed the issue until Dyer essentially told him that he wasn't good enough to receive a pass. The two men traded insults before Bowyer eventually charged his teammate and started raining punches on him. Recounting his mindset at the time of the incident, Dyer remembered thinking to himself, "I can't believe he's doing this in front of 50,000 people." He and Bowyer then briefly tussled and pulled on each other's jerseys before they were separated and each given the red card. Their behavior drew criticism from their teammates and enraged then-captain Alan Shearer, who reportedly called them selfish and a disgrace in the locker room. Dyer was given a 3-match ban in the aftermath, while Bowyer, who admitted to have initiated the brawl, was given a 7-match ban and fined more than 6 weeks' wages. The two men eventually resolved their conflict and even became teammates again at West Ham United. Number 4. Jonathan Papelbon. In late July of 2015, Major League Baseball pitcher Jonathan Papelbon was traded to the Washington Nationals and within a few months became the main aggressor in several violent incidents. On September the 23rd, he intentionally threw a pitch at the head of Orioles player Manny Machado, resulting in his immediate ejection. Machado managed to roll his shoulder to intercept the ball and thus avoided serious injury. The MLB fined and suspended Papelbon for 3 games. On September the 27th, Papelbon had a heated exchange with teammate and rising superstar Bryce Harper. It occurred as the latter was returning to the dugout following his turn at bat. Papelbon escalated the argument to physical violence as he grabbed Harper by the throat and forcefully shoved him towards the bench. Teammates intervened and the pitcher later took responsibility for the incident, attributing it to testosterone and rising tension during the game. He and Harper talked and resolved their differences, with both men describing the fight as a brotherly spat. Reacting to Papelbon's concerning behavior, numerous fans on social media offered to donate $100 to a charity of the team's choosing if they got rid of him. For attacking Harper, he was given a 4-game suspension without pay, costing him over $280,000. Number 3. Jake Sanford. Outfield prospect Jake Sanford was let go from the New York Yankees in the spring of 2022 amid allegations of theft when he wasn't pestering teammates for their equipment so that he could sell it online. Sanford allegedly went into their lockers to steal various items, such as bats or gloves. The 24-year-old, who'd been drafted in 2019 and received a signing bonus of close to $600,000, was also accused of failing to deliver on the promised merchandise after accepting money from prospective buyers. Sanford promptly deactivated his Twitter upon being cut by the Yankees, and the team didn't comment on the incident. One source, however, reported that the player had resorted to stealing from his teammates to cover gambling debts. Today's topic was inspired by Gaming by P. Calls, Tony G, and Fat Girl Freestyle. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Jermaine Beckford and Ian Doyle. During a soccer match against Sheffield United Football Club in December of 2016, 2 strikers from the Preston North End Football Club were sent off by the referee after clashing at Hillsborough, with their team down to 9 men after one had been red-carded and another was being treated for a shoulder injury off-pitch. Preston had a chance to score an equalizer close to the 90-minute mark. Forward Ian Doyle pulled the goal back and then passed to another teammate who shot over the bar. Jermaine Beckford took exception to Doyle's decision of not passing to him, and the 2 men became involved in a brief physical altercation. They were separated by the referee, other teammates, and even players from the opposing team before each was shown the red card. Doyle and Beckford were fined in the incident's aftermath, with the proceeds going towards refunding the tickets of Preston North End fans. Their manager told a media outlet that the 2 players had let themselves and the supporters down through their childish behavior, describing the fight as a joke and a disgrace. Number 1. Daniel Puddyfoot. On April 30th of 2015, Daniel Puddyfoot attended an award banquet held by the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut where she played for the soccer team. She and other teammates had reportedly been drinking before the event. Throughout her athletic career, the 22-year-old senior from Slough, England, hadn't received any awards for her efforts on the pitch. Puddyfoot became upset when her teammate, Hayley Marquis, was given a commendation of which she thought herself to have been more worthy. After the banquet, the inebriated Puddyfoot became verbally aggressive towards her teammates while they were attending a dorm party. As tensions escalated, the young woman focused her rage on Marquis, whom she headbutted, sending her tumbling over furniture. Other teammates got between them, and while there were no further attacks on Marquis, they were unable to get Puddyfoot to calm down. She kept bashing her head against walls and furniture until she eventually passed out. She was subsequently arrested on charges of disorderly conduct and third-degree assault and was later released on a $1,000 bond. In the incident's aftermath, Marquis was treated at hospital after she'd been left with facial swelling and black eyes. Ironically, the award that Puddyfoot felt she deserved and hence triggered her violent outburst had reportedly been won for good sportsmanship. In the legal proceedings that followed, the young woman didn't admit any wrongdoing and told a judge that she wouldn't write an apology letter to Marquis. A decision was made that her charges would be dropped upon the completion of 1 year's probation. Thanks for watching. Would you rather go through training to join a Navy SEAL team or have to fend off a leopard seal? Let us know in the comments section below.